Welcome, welcome, welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Poole Harding. This basketball head is definitely a mover and shaker when it comes to basketball on a junior high school scene in New York City. Not only he's a mover and shaker, he started his career playing basketball out in Coney Island, and then took his talents out to Christ the King, where he became an all-city player. Not only does that, top 100, one of the top players in the country. He then moved on to Temple University and then finished his career at Cal U out in the West Coast. So he could tell you a few things about the transition to basketball and what it's like to be at the top of the food chain. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the show, CEO of the Isaiah Lewis and Trey Dickinson Skills Camp, my man, my brother, Isaiah Lewis.
Ready? Yeah. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. 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 Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody, get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
What's going on?
What's up, fam?
All right.
Finally, man.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
Man, listen, we've been playing this for a while, man.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to start with a bunch of questions right now, right? Let's just talk about the state of New York City basketball as far as, our kids that's coming up, seeking different high schools and that nature, because I know your phone rings a lot.
Yeah.
We just did the announcement, right? Our first junior high school announcement with Jordan Norman, which is dope, man, and definitely gonna have many more. But what is your feeling like on the state of New York City basketball from that end to these kids picking the right high schools?
I think first and foremost, man, the parents. I think we got a lot of delusional parents in these times, and I think the parents are living through the kids. It's a lot of situations that I'm running up against where the parents haven't played, they haven't been in a situation where they're getting that type of attention that their son or their daughter got, and so they don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it, so they need guidance. But it's that fine line of ego that I don't want to ask for help. I can do it. It's my son, it's my daughter, and I think it's hurting the kids. We got to do a better job of doing our research on the high schools. Especially with the kids, like where is the kid at? Is the kid, 5'8"? Is the kid 6'2", fit? How the kid plays, the kid demeanor, all of that stuff. Looking at, the coaches from these high schools. If your son is one of those sons that needs to be pushed, you can't send him to a mellow coach. You got to send him to a coach that's going to be on him, not only on the basketball court, but off the court. You know what I mean? Even, in the classroom, things of that nature. So I think that's kind of the the main thing right now, man. And I'm noticing a trend right now, and I hope that it could get better. I hope that the parents can start understanding that when you have people like myself and other guys who've been through it, it's okay to reach out. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to do those things because those people are going to give you the real answers that you need. And so I think that's kind of what's going on in New York. Other than that, talent-wise, New York always going to be at the top. With talent and stuff like that. I just think that the development piece really needs to be harped on. Like some of these kids need to know, like, listen, bro, you're gonna be 6'2", or 6'3", you know, you need to be a point guard. Like, you're not gonna be a 2 and a 3. Or you know, if you 6'5" and you play in a 5, like, nah, you need to work on your ball handling. You know, you need to play pick and roll. You need to make reads. You need to, you know, shoot the 3 efficiently. You need to do these things and stay off Instagram and stay off TikTok and stay off these things. And stop watching other people and they process. Like, everyone's journey is different. So I think that, you know, it's just fine tuning those, you know, those internal things with our city, man. And once we do that, I think, you know, we'll be straight.
Everybody not going to Stepping Out.
Right.
Now they got 3 McDonald All-Americans.
Right.
Like, everybody's going to say, I want my kid to go to Stepping Out because that is the place to be, in which the Stepping Out is a great school, great program, but everybody can't get to that level.
Nope. And that's okay though. Yeah. That's okay. It's like, you know, it's schools out there, it's Catholic schools, it's public schools out there that, you know what I mean? You know, some of these kids, I would wish that they watched and said, listen, instead of me going to a Stepping Act, St. Francis Prep, or Christ the King, I want to go to a Zvarian, you know what I mean? Where, you know, talent-wise, it may not be on par, but playing against those teams, I could be able to put my own self on the map, or I could be able to get other guys better that I'm playing with, you know what I mean? And then by my junior year, you know what I mean, maybe a Zvarian is at that, you know, point in their, you know, high school tenure where they could go and play in some of these national tournaments. I just don't think that these parents and these kids are looking at situations like that. Everybody would just want to go to the big school. And then you go to the big school and you're not playing, or you got to wait till your junior year, it's like I'm transferring. Well, yeah, of course you're going to transfer because A, you didn't come in prepared. B, it was way more opportunities that you could have probably taken that you probably would have been able to play right away. You know what I mean? And this it's just like decision making. And so that's why I'm here, you know, to kind of harp on these kids like, bro, I made, you know, certain decisions that made my road a little curvy. So that's why I'm here to, you know, kind of help and you know, and venture out and see, you know, if I could help in any way I can.
And salute to Zvarian, man. Coach Chapman, they run a great program over there, man. Salute, man.
Yep.
But let's talk about you, man. Who introduced you to the game?
Oh man, I would say my dad, my uncle. You know, my dad. Shout out my pops. You know,
Lincoln guy. That's right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Shout out my pops. You know what I mean? From 28th Street in Coney Island, played with Stephon Marbury, you know, Sean Reed, Butchie Hawkins, you know, Tim Mew, 530, played with all these guys. And then, you know, I had my uncle come up, Jason Coleman, played for Tiny, was Tiny first Division I recruit, played at McNeese State, you know, played in the tournament, stuff like that. I would say, you know, those two guys. Obviously, you know, my mom, you know, my mother's side didn't play none of that, but once my dad kind of introduced it to me, you know, it was all she wrote. Like, my pops tell me a story all the time where I was about 3 or 4 years old and I sat and watched a whole Fab Five game. Like a whole game, like Michigan was playing whoever they was playing.
Which is not easy for a young kid.
Like 4 years old,
I
got my little juice cup and I sat and watched the whole game. Like no crying. And at that point he knew, like, all right, I got something on my hands. So, you know, I would definitely say, you know, those two guys, obviously RP to my granddad. My granddad played at Notre Dame back in the days.
Dope.
Gil Relaford, yup, he was, you know, coming up with Bernard King and those guys, Clyde Frazier, all those guys. And, you know, so, you know, in terms of my dad's side of the family, it was real basketball royalty. So, and then I not to mention, I was 6'3" myself. So being taller, obviously, you know, I'm going to get picked to play in fives and all of that stuff. And I just took off from there.
What was the pickup games like out in Coney Island, man? Like, was your park the Garden?
It was the Garden.
It was the Garden?
It was the Garden, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
What was those pickup games like, man? And what did you have to do to get on that court? Because, look, there's a lot of ball players out there, and I know you had to wait your turn, right?
For me, and this is why I say I'm a millennial. I'm an original millennial, because back then in the early 2000s, you just had to be nice on your block. That was. So now we got social media, and you get a highlight and post on Instagram. Like back then, it meant something if you was nice on your block.
That's a fact.
It meant something if you was picked in the fives. And so in order for you to get picked, you just had to be nice. Like, you had to play, you know. And in the fives, when you played, you had to score a lot. You know what I mean, to be respected. And so for me, you know, I'm from 31st. I'm from the Garden. So all of the hoopers was on my block. You know, Ethan Telf, who was my best friend, Sebastian's brother, and Kelly Davis, and Whitehead, Truck Flood. These are the guys that I ran with. These are the guys, you know, growing up that I played with. And like I said, it was important that, you know, I was the first or second pick. That meant more than any of this other stuff going on now. So you know what I mean. I just think growing up playing in those competitive fives, we didn't have trainers. It wasn't trainers. It was just literally we played all day. We played all day. I asked my dad for $10, get me a little bacon, egg, and cheese and a beef patty, and I was good all day. I didn't go upstairs maybe to go change my shirt because it was sweaty. Other than that, we just played. We played tag. We was outside all day. All we did was run around. It was just different, you know what I mean? And so I think that was something that, made me nice, made me a killer, and made me who I ended up being as a basketball player.
Now, would you agree that tag, Cocolivio, manhunting, all those things, plus the basketball, was our training facility?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just being outside, being a kid.
Being outside, being a kid, being creative, like in tag and Cocolivio, we used to play at night. So the way it was with Stephon Marbury would be doing his tournament, and Sebastian would do his tournament. Obviously, we was younger.
Right.
Our games would be in the morning, 10, 11. And obviously, you got the 16s and the juniors and the seniors, Lance and those guys that come out, whatever. And we wasn't really watching the games when we was that young. We was playing tag. We was playing tag because it was dark out.
Right.
You know what I mean? You get out, you get your adrenaline going. You a little scared. And we outside just running around the whole block, just running around playing. And I think that was some of the things that as a kid growing up in Coney Island was why we were so good and we were so that because we had that chemistry, that camaraderie, and we was creative. Like I would go and find little creeks and stuff to where I know like Whitehead ain't gonna look over there, or Kelly ain't gonna look over there to get me, like type stuff. And so that way that could help me create in my mind like little things. So now on the basketball court, with somebody in front of me, I'm knowing to go in and out cross because he gonna beat for the in and out that I'm gonna go cross. Like just little tricks of the trades and stuff like that. And that's why I say I'm fortunate for being from Coney Island and watching Sebastian and Stephon and all of these guys, because it created in my mind that creativity.
Knowing you had all these stars, and I made this post, I think last year, when I said that Coney Island has the most pros from the smallest neighborhood, I think almost in the country.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, with all the different ball players that came out of there. Who was like your motivation? Like, who was the guy that you watched and said, you know what? I know my family got this lineage, but this dude right here, this is something different, and this is who I want to be like.
Lance Stevenson. Lance was my idol. He was a big part of the reason why I wore number 1 in college and in high school, even playing pro. I wore 1 because of him. I tracked everything from when he was in high school. I went to damn near all of his games. His dad and my dad is like this, real close. Shout out to Big Stretch, and like it was nothing that you could tell me. Like I would go and watch him play against a Boys High or Jefferson, and if you don't know, Lance was like reckless in high school. He'd go get 30, elbow somebody, break somebody's nose. He was wild. But I would try to go mimic that in my middle school games. Like my pops used to be like, he used to yell at me like, "Yo, you're not Lance." Like, you're not Lance, but it's like I ain't kid. I was my idol. That's who I looked up to. So, without question. Sebastian was, in terms of culture, obviously, I wanted the swag and I wanted the smile and I wanted that, that dominant, presence like Massey, but like I wanted to play like Lance. It was nothing you could tell me. I want the crossover, pull up like him. I want to throw an elbow like him after I get an N1, all that stuff. So
that whole bravado that came with it.
Everything.
Wow.
Yep.
So, my underlying beef with you, because I am a real sprinter.
Yeah.
Why the hell didn't you go to Lincoln?
Yeah. I've gotten this question 30,000 times. It's no real answer to it. I wanted to be different. So I played growing up with Juice, with Tiny, Darren Smith. Shout out Darren Smith, Stacy, Mike Walsh. All of those guys coached us and coached me and stuff like that. And what it was Shandu McNeil. Shout out to Shan. Shan was somebody that was so influential in my life because he showed me different. Obviously Shan played at St. Bonaventure. He's the director of New York Lightning. I played AAU with him coming up. I would play with Juice, but when Juice wasn't doing nothing nationally, I would play with Lightning. And with Shan, it was like he kind of expanded my horizons. He was the first person to go take me to watch Johnny Flynn play. Corey Fisher, who was a superstar. We played on the same AAU team. and stuff like that. And, Shane kind of put it to me like, yo, you don't have to go to Lincoln. And I don't want you to think that. And I was just like, yeah, Shane, so where I'm going to go? And when we would go to watch Christ the King play and Malloy and all of the Catholic schools, Rice and stuff like that, he like, yo, you could be different, but still carry Coney Island with you. And I'm like, oh, and at this time, I'm 10, 11 years old. I'm not really thinking nothing of it until I start getting older. Now I'm in 7th grade and 8th grade, and the high schools are starting to recruit me and talk to me and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, you know what? Different is cool. Different is cool. And we played in a tournament. It was an 8th grade tournament that Juice played in. I played with all my homies at Christ the King. Christ the King held the tournament with all the best AAU teams in the city. And long story short, we ended up winning the championship. We beat the New York Panthers in the championship. Arbitello, Artie Cox, all of the coaching staff was there watching the game. I ended up having like 25 in the game and got the MVP. The MVP was a pair of LeBrons, a Christ the King book bag, and a Christ the King sweater, Nike sweater. Artie Cox then goes and makes his, recruiting pitch. Yo, where you going to high school? I don't know yet. Oh, you're not going to Lincoln? Nah. Yo, let's have a talk. Long story short, that led to me going down to visit Christ the King with my AAU coach at the time, Rel, and it was all she wrote. It was history. You know what I mean? I went down, took the visit. I always had a plan for me. Listen, at the time, see, it's different now. I got freshmen playing varsity now. Back then, you had to play freshman as a freshman. Yeah. So it was that. Listen, you're gonna play freshman, then you're gonna write the varsity. You know what I mean? Listen, I'm going to have all of the national guys know about him. You know what I mean? We're going to put him on the scene, stuff like that. We play a national schedule. He's going to have a chance to be one of the top players in the country. And that was it. My mom, all she was worried about was, am I going to be on scholarship, which I was, and how's the academics? And the academics at Christ the King speak for itself. That was it. That was the pitch for me. And so at that point, me having a mindset of I wanted to be different, playing at a place like Christ the King, especially at that time, it was a no-brainer.
But you had kids from Coney Island going to Boys and Girls, Grady,
yep,
and other schools, but no one was going to the Catholic school league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, did you kind of broke the mold? Mm-hmm. Did you get any backlash for that?
Oh, extremely. Like, I mean, I'm a real emotional guy when it comes to my neighborhood because I got Coney Island tatted on me. I'm Coney Island. Everything I do is Coney Island, and I feel like the support factor for me. I took a hit. Like I don't feel like I get that same support that a Lance gets, a Whiteheads gets. And obviously, the Stephs and Bassies are different, but the people in my era, I don't think that I get that support because I didn't go to Lincoln. And sometimes that weighed on me because I think at the end of the day, I still represented where we from. I still went and did my thing at Christ the King, even though it was across the bridge. Mm-hmm. And so I still, sometimes that kind of could weigh on me because it's like, okay, I ain't go to Lincoln, but at the end of the day, I still rep the hood. So, sometimes, that could weigh on me in terms of that support. But at the end of the day, what I learned is you just gotta keep swimming. So, you know what I mean? Like Quincy Dooby didn't get a lot of support, and me and Doob is like real close. And I spoke with Doob about that a couple of different times when I was kind of like in my feelings about that. Like, yo, why the hood not showing me love? And it was just keep going, keep swimming, keep at it. And, at some point, they're going to understand that you're one of the best to come out of it.
Yeah, well, it's a long way from Coney Island to Queen Village. For sure. Ain't a lot of people don't really leave Coney Island like that. Right. Yeah, man, I definitely understand now, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not as mad at you, bro.
Yeah.
I get it. So, what was like for you, that transition coming from Coney Island going to a Catholic school, right? What was that transition like for you, on and off the court?
It was easy because that's something I wanted to do. So for me, Arbitello already kind of knew the backlash that I was getting. And so he did a great job of making me comfortable. He knew like I was one of the better 8th graders out of Coney Island. He knew that my 5, which was Whitehead, me, Truck, Kelly, and Ethan, was superior. And he knew that he was probably taking, one of the better players out of the 5 and stuff like that. So he did a good job of making me feel at home. He did a good job of, making sure that anything I needed, my mom needed, it was there. And then the platform, obviously, playing on that national stage like that and being able to dance like that, it was something that I wanted. I wanted that challenge. People don't understand, like, my dad was mad at me for probably about 6 or 7 months. It took Arbitello offering, you know, my dad to come to some games and to come see that I made the right decision by coming to Christ the King. Like, he was tight because at the end of the day, like, you know, y'all bleed blue, and I'm his son, and you know what I mean. It was supposed to go down as me going to Lincoln, especially with Lance being my idol. But so, you know, that took some time in terms of internally with my family, especially with my pops, to just get over that hump of, all right, he did make the right decision to go to Christ the King, and it is working out for him. You know what I mean? And we do have some here. But yeah, I think, you know, especially when I first got there, everything was damn near perfect for me. The way that, you know, like I said, Arbitello presented it, the teachers, the faculty, the staff, everybody treated me well at first. And like I said, you couldn't tell me that I didn't make the right decision when I first got there.
So name the 5 again. You, Isaiah, Flood,
Kelly Davis, Shaquille Davis, and Ethan Telfield.
So out of the 5, 3 of them went to Lincoln?
3 of them went to Lincoln.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then Flood, boys and girls, and you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think at that time, if all 5 of y'all would have went to Lincoln, things would have went perfect as it was? Because, you know, you got Flood who went, and to boys and girls, I think they won 3 in a row.
3 in a row, yeah.
Right? So you could tell he was definitely
a stud, yeah.
He was definitely a stud. But if all you guys went together, what do you think it would have been like?
I think we went 4 in a row. Like, how dominant we was, I'm talking about dominant, like every AAU team you name in New York City with some type of power, the Gauchos, the Panthers, Team Next, we smacked them all. I'm talking about, and when I say smack them all, it was convincingly. Like, it wasn't like we beating about 10. No. It's 20, 25s. And so, and the thing about us is we all knew each other. We was all cool with each other. We was all from the same hood. So, like, my dad and Truck Flood dad is best friends.
Yeah.
My mom and Isaiah Whitehead mom is cool. Ethan mom, and you know what I mean? So it was just like, it was that love and that we all from the same neighborhood type of chemistry. And I think about that, like, damn, if we would have all stayed together because we were so dominant in middle school, how would that have turned? And I wish, you know, we could have got a chance to see that and stuff like that. But and the thing is, I told Tiny, I said, listen, you know, we've had little conversations about it. Mm-hmm. I told him, I said, look, me personally, I don't think that we was taken as serious to stay together. I think Tiny kind of knew he had us, or felt he had us in the bag. And it's like, I'm playing for Shandu with the Lightning, you know what I mean? Ethan was playing with Gaucho. Like, we was all over. So we was getting different things presented to us. And like, so for me, like I said, Shan was presenting different
things. Did he have Juice at the time?
Yes, he did. Yes, but we wasn't. So the thing with Juice was we would only do a lot of like local stuff.
Right.
We didn't really go on the road. So we'd do something local, and then I'm on the road for 3 weeks straight with Lightning. With Shan. So Shan, you know what I mean? We talking about high schools and different things, or he taking me to different games. I'm going to Baruch College to the Big Apple joint to watch Malik Booth and Irv Walker play against Lance and or whatever, like Ryan Pearson. So I'm going to see these things and imagining me in different uniforms other than Lincoln. See, and so that's why I felt like, not like I said, not saying that Tiny didn't want us together, but he felt like, yo, they from the hood, I got them. And
so do you think if Juice was traveling on the road and you guys was traveling with each other and being with each other on a road playing throughout the country, that would have made the difference?
1,000%, because now, instead of
y'all getting a taste of something else.
Right. So we getting a taste of something else, and now my mind is not being confused by anything else. I'm with my homies, and so we going to King James with my homie. So now, right, that whole imagining like, oh damn, I'm at the Christ the King game, yo, I can see myself at Christ King. I'm at the Rice game, I can see I'm with my homies, I'm with my niggas. So now, only thing I can see is Lincoln, because I'm with them 24/7, we're traveling together, and that aspect was taken out, and that's why I think he allowed Tiny, what I'm saying, he allowed that little stir up to happen. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like I said, you know, it is what it is, but I would have loved to see us play together, and you know, I think we went 4 straight. We was that dominant. Like, everybody knew their roles. Everybody, like I said, was cool with each other. We all knew each other from when we was yay high, parents and stuff like that. So you didn't have that dynamic of hating and parents this. We all from the same place. You know what I mean? So I would have loved to see that. I wish we could have, but you know, things happen.
All right, let's go back to Christ the King. Like, when did you start really feeling your comfort zone, and when did you, kind of come into your own as a player at Christ the King?
Oh man, my first ever varsity game. I never forget it. Corey Edwards, who was our starting point guard, ended up playing at George Mason, the son of Dave, the late great Dave Edwards.
Yeah.
He ended up getting suspended my sophomore year for about a month and a half. When that happened, I never forget Arbitello came into my science class. He snagged me out of science and was like, listen.
This is sophomore year, not your freshman year?
This is my sophomore year.
Gotcha.
Sophomore year. He came and snagged me right out of science and was like, look, for this national stretch, I need you to be the point guard. I'm like, oh, this is why I came here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm ready. I'm from CI, like, yeah, or whatever. And it started from the first game. We played Thomas Jefferson, Devontae Grace. They had Taekwon Goodlet, Edson Avila. They had a crew. All those guys was going, I think Grace was going to St. John's. Avila was going to Manhattan. Long story short, they had a crew. And I seen an article where Buzz he said after the game he thought I was going to come out scared. But I came out, I had like 18. I hit 2 buckets, two important buckets, with like 2 minutes left in the game to put us up. And Mike Quick and MSU Varsity was doing the game. And right then and there, Mike Quick said I was the best sophomore in New York. That right there started a whole confidence builder for me. Couldn't tell me nothing at that point because as a kid growing up, that's what we had. We had MSG Varsity and stuff like that. And when you get Mike Quick to tell the people, this is the best sophomore in New York, it ain't in terms of confidence, it ain't nothing else I needed to hear. And so I never forget, the papers blew me up. It was all over the place. And at that point, now I'm getting love in school. Arbs, Texas, it was just a whirlwind. And at that point, my pops figured out, like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, my son probably made the best decision. And I took off after that. We went on our national schedule, City of Palms. I ended up getting like all tournament, the hoop hall. We played on ESPN. I got the play of the game, a little interview after me and Omar killed. And it was just after that, I just took off. I was getting all tournament teams and the national joints. I had got ranked in the top 40. I was a 4-star. They put me as the #1 player in New York. And at that point, it was just like, man, like
as a sophomore.
As a sophomore. As a sophomore, I got the Kansas offer my sophomore year. Right after City of Palms, I went crazy. I had like 2 20-point games. The first game I had like 10 and 7 assists. And I got the interview. And I did a players only meeting. And I told the papers that. Like, I did the meeting. I wanted the guys to come together because I just felt like, we was kind of being selfish. And City of Palms, you know how that go. Like, if I get 20 in City of Palms, a lot of things
your way.
Yeah, right. So I was like, nah, man, like, we need to kind of come together, worry about winning and stuff like that. And as a sophomore doing that, it was kind of big, especially, at Christ the King. And the paper blew that up and stuff. And I was just coming into my own. I was confident. Like, I'm from Coney Island. Like, Lance is my idol. Like I'm good. Like, I'm here. Like, I'm a tough-minded kid. And I didn't care about the bright lights. Like, man, let's get the balls out. Let's play. And like things just took off for me after that.
What happened when Corey came back?
It was, he was a senior. And so obviously instead of, I went from playing 30 minutes to playing 20. I think that Arbs did trust me because I was kind of in the trenches, but it was like that and Arbs is a real heavy believing in his seniors guy, seniority type dude. And I think he's still like that to this day. And it was games where it didn't register for me because I'm like, I just showed you on the biggest stage that I could do it. And so it'd be times where, I'm playing, I'm in the trenches of a 5-point game and, he got to snag me with 4 minutes left because you got to play the seniors. And that didn't really register to me because I had just came off that month of just kind of, completely coming into my own. And so things was like kind of tough for me mentally because, I felt like, I should have earned your trust more to play me with the seniors. And
you didn't understand why.
I didn't understand why. And we never really had that conversation about it. He never really pulled me to the side like, listen, it's not really nothing that you're doing. It's more that seniority type thing that I'm on, and this is what it's going to be. And so I kind of just had to live with it, knowing that next year it was going to be my year.
And what was that summer like going into your junior year? What did you do? Mm-hmm. And how did you get yourself to be a better player going into your junior year?
I lit it up. I lit it up. I was playing on the Nike circuit with Albany City Rocks, and here's where it get tricky because now, I'm the #1 sophomore in New York. I'm a top 40 player, scout.com, Rivals, ESPN, right? And at this point, now I'm getting agents teetering with me. I'm getting different people, listen, Zay, we could do this for you. I could do that for you. At one point, I had like certain prep schools trying to lure me away from Christ the King. And I wasn't really ready for that. Me and my family wasn't ready for that because like, unlike Ethan, who he had Sebastian and 530, where they've been through that stuff, it was just me. My uncle, he kind of did it, but, he went to a small school. He wasn't highly touted and stuff like that. And he had moved away to Louisiana.
You got attacked by the bad advice, bro.
I got it, yeah. So it was just like, I'm just listening to different people. I don't really know which way to go. And at this point, I'm 15 years old. So this is where I always get emotional, where I feel like Arb should have stepped in. Because at this point, I'm your recruit. I'm the first recruit ever to come play for Arbs. He was the first one to come and get me and stuff like that. And I felt like I was just kind of like let alone. I didn't have nobody to be like, yo, like watch out. Like, get the vultures out of here and we got it. It was just like, I'm taking this call, I'm taking that call, and everyone was expecting me to make the decisions. And I'm like, yo, I'm 15. Like,
Did he know what was going on though? Did the Arbs know what was going on?
That's a good question because I truly felt like everything involving me was getting back to him because, there'd be times where we'd go on AU trips during school still. Like right now, the EYBL is about to start soon. And he would know certain things. And then there'd be times where I felt like he didn't and he would rely on me. And at that point, that's when I would have loved to have, people more involved in that part. I didn't want to be my own agent. I didn't want to do these type of things. I didn't want to take calls and all that stuff. I just wanted to get better and play basketball, and make sure my grades are straight.
So, but why would Arbs take calls for prep schools or other schools that's recruiting you when he know like this kid is coming back to me and playing his last 2 years?
I think because it was new to everybody.
Okay.
So at this time, on a national scene, me and Omar was bringing a lot of attention. Like, 'cause Omar was top 30, and a lot of people, and not
Omar Calhoun.
Omar Calhoun.
There you go. Okay,
Omar Calhoun, and not to segue off that, but a lot of people think me and Omar had got some type of beef, or it was never beef. I truly feel like we didn't understand each other, and we had nobody to sit us down. We never was in a room like this where it was just me and him and the coaching staff, and it was a conversation. Never. So I think we needed that though, because he was getting all the attention as a junior, I was getting all the attention as a sophomore, and I don't want to say he was hating. I'm not gonna say that, but maybe he wasn't used to somebody like me coming in and getting that attention like he was. Maybe that kind of caught him off guard, and he needed to understand how to handle that together. So I'm saying, like, it was like we never could come together while we was there and be like, yo, like, let's just take the shit over. Like, it was just kind of like, I'm doing my thing, you doing your thing, and whatever happens, happens. And so to go back to answer your question, I just wish that it was more conversations had with the coaching staff to balance out understanding. I didn't know and understand what was going on. Like, I had two of the most high, I'm not gonna say their names, two of the most higher power agents like calling me every other day. I don't know what they're offering money, they're offering this, they're offering that. I'm taking it because I don't, what do I say to that? Rather, it had been, call my high school coach, y'all handle that and figure that out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that was happening. I don't know if it was some type of, in-between conversation that, happened that they didn't rock with each other. So, I don't know to this day. And so I think that it was a lot of that going on. And I had to, be my own agent / make sure I'm playing well in front of everybody / and that was a lot for me. That was a lot for me to take on my shoulders.
Even with your dad playing with somebody like Stephon Marbury, he didn't know the ins and outs because he didn't walk those shoes. Yep. Right. So he wasn't able to advise you on what was going on, or you felt like he was in the dark as well.
I want to say it wasn't that he was in the dark. It's just my dad is who my dad is. Yeah. And he's from Coney Island through and through, and it was a lot of things going on outside of basketball at that time.
Got you.
So he was like kind of like, you know, trying to be there, but then, you know, we from Coney Island, so it's a lot of stuff going on. And so, you know, he didn't, I don't think he understood that his son was big time at this time.
Right.
And that things was moving very fast. It was just like, yeah, my son nice, and yeah, he playing Christ the King, and yeah, that's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I don't understand. I mean, I don't think he understood the moment. And if we could,
and the magnitude of what was going on.
Right. Like having a son ranked #1 in New York City, you know what I mean? Having a son ranked 39th in the country, like that's huge. Like I'm damn near on my way to being a McDonald American. You know what I mean? And like, so you got to understand the vultures are gonna come, and they're gonna come fast. And they did come, and they came fast, and we just wasn't ready for it. We wasn't ready for it, and you know, at that point now I'm just listening to whoever. Like, you know, if you got some type of basketball knowledge, I'm like listening, and you know, and I wish my dad was there more. And so I don't fault him for it, because like I said, where we're from is very tough. So it's about survival first. Where we're from, you got to survive first, and then everything else after. So you know, it's a part of me doesn't blame him, but then a part of me does. At the end of the day, you know, you got your son on a road to greatness. You got to kind of find that balance. And so it was tough for me. Like I said, then not having the support, like I seen like a whitehead get, or you know what I mean. It was tough for me to, you know, feel like my hood was turning on me a little bit, because I didn't go to Lincoln. And so, you know, when I'm looking on the internet, I'm seeing them pump everybody else besides me. It's like, yo, I'm doing just as good, or you know, I'm putting on for the hood too, but I didn't go to Lincoln. So they feel like, you know what I mean? Nah, he kind of betrayed us. When it wasn't that, I just made the best decision for myself. So, you know, I still go through that, you know, that little mental warfare with Coney Island. And like I said, I'm Coney Island through and through. I got it tatted. I'm a down with it on my lip, like I got it tatted on me. So, you know, it's different demons and different battles I fight.
Yeah, but like I said, you know, knowing, because I'm a crosstown guy who played out in Coney Island, right? Again, you know, it's like out of sight, out of mind, right? It wasn't like they could just jump on and see you play. When Isaiah's at Lincoln, they just get on. What was that bus that run right?
36.
The 36. I know it. 36, right there to Lincoln and see him play, so it's easy access.
Right.
So I definitely get that. All right, man. So you know, you started, you know, that junior year in the summertime, preparing yourself for the junior year. What was that junior year like? Did you get everything that you expected to come out of that junior year, going back to CTK?
No, it was a whirlwind. It was a whirlwind for me, because now I'm known, I'm ranked. All of the college coaches, like I'm talking about the blue bloods, like you know what I mean. I'm getting recruited at a very high level. I'm playing with, you know, one of the best players in the country, Omar Calhoun, and at this time, I need to start being taught how to play the game. Right, I'm getting recruited at a high level. I need to start getting taught how to play pick and roll, how to play defense, how to have good body language, how to do all that stuff. Because see, what people don't understand is in AAU, once you got your name, you kind of can do whatever you want. It's no, like, you know what I mean, the AAU coach, it's probably, you know what I mean, just somebody, probably the dude that's coaching us probably ain't even getting paid for it. He probably just know the director or play for the director, so he really don't care about actually teaching you what you need to do for the next level, or making sure you got good body language, or listen, we just got to win so we can go to the next EYBL joint so we can keep our contract. That's kind of what it is.
Is that going on today?
Oh yeah. Like there's, especially now, you know, being in the middle school joint,
right?
They got the junior EYBL. There's teams and there's kids I know now feeling like they, you know, it's peer pressure. Yo, Zay, I got to go play for this team because, you know, coach told us, me and my dad, that if they don't win, they lose their Nike deal. Like that's going on.
That's pressure.
Yeah, it's going on. So it was like that even back then. So like, you know, dealing with those type of coaches who, listen, man, Zay, just come over here, help me keep my Nike deal, right? Or listen, I really want to develop you, you know what I mean? Make sure you know what you need to do for the next level, et cetera, et cetera. And so going back to my junior year, it was just like, you know, as a 16-year-old kid, as a coach, this is how I feel. I feel like you got to be able to manage the ego. And so I had a big ego because, like I said, now, you know, everybody know I'm number one. in New York. Everybody know I'm top 50. Everybody know like I just had Kansas come and watch me work out, and Georgia Tech just come watch me work out, in Memphis and all these schools, and they offer me and all. Everybody know that. So now I'm feeling myself, right? And I needed to be checked. I needed to be humble. I needed to be challenged a little bit more. And it was just so rocky because, like I said, mentally I'm feeling like I'm above everybody else.
Could you be checked though? Like, think about the young you.
Yeah.
You know, you now the older you says, yo, I need to be checked. But back then, could you been checked? Could somebody check you back then and you pay attention?
I think so. I think so because, when things were good for me, it was times where, Arbs had to sit me or, he'd take me out of games. I never forget, I was going through a stretch. Probably in middle of my junior year, we had just went and played in the Bass Pro Shop. Me and Omar tore that up. That's one of the better tournaments in the country. We got all tournament. Then we shit the bed in the hoop hall. We got smacked by Mater Dei from California. We got smacked. They gave us the primetime game. Me and O was supposed to go crazy, New York, whatever, and they handed it to us. And we just went on a stretch where we just wasn't on the same page and stuff like that. It always kind of got on me a little bit. And I never forget, I think we had came back and played Holy Cross or somebody. He was just on me. He was snagging me every time I did something wrong and stuff like that. And I ended up responding. We played Severian. I had an 11 and 9 assist game. And it was it wasn't a lot of points. It wasn't a lot, but I just was playing the right way. I was getting the ball to where it needed to go. I was just, and I had good body language. I think that if it would have stayed there, and we would have built from that, I probably would have been better off. But as a coach, you don't want to, we still young, and it's that fine line. You don't want to be too hard on the kids because you might could lose them. But then it's I want to coach them because they got to play better and they got to get better. So it's that ease up effect. All right, I'm gonna be hard on him, but then I'm gonna ease up because now he should understand what I want. And I think that's probably what happened at that time. And also too, I tell a lot of people to ask me, it's Ours was fairly new in this. Me and O, we brought that national attention back to the school, that national flavor. UNC, Omar had all type of schools.
So he just getting the head coaching job around that time?
He was just, he was I think it was I came either his first year or the second year he got it.
Got you.
I was so it was new for everybody. Right. So it's that fine line of me wanting more out of him, but then it's also, me understanding that it was new for him and me. So as I got older, I kind of start understanding that a little bit more, and I started just having a little bit more gratitude about the situation. But it was just up and down, and then that's when kind of the bullshit happened towards the end of my junior year. I ended up getting benched because I wasn't meeting the standards that he wanted, Arbitello, in terms of just as a player, body language, just different things mentally.
Well, it's around the time when people start saying Isaiah Lewis was difficult to work with?
Yes, it was. I started getting a bad rap. I started getting a bad reputation because, I was going through so much different things. I got college coaches, listen, Zay, we need to get you committed now. I don't want to wait. I got agents, listen, who you playing AAU with? Listen, don't go Adidas, go Nike. I got, different people, I got these sneakers for you. So it's a lot of different things going on off the court. I would leave practice to 15 messages and they would all be basketball people. Wouldn't even be my girlfriend now. It would just be basketball people. Right. This AAU coach, that Asian, this runner or whoever you call him, mentor type. This. So it's and at the end, and like I said, I didn't have that support to protect me. It was I was taking it on, and then if I would tell somebody, who is this dude or who is it, we would then talk about who that person was that hit me up or whatever. But I didn't have that support that that was protecting me from this stuff. Dudes just hit me directly. At that point, when it's you the highly heralded guy, they're not supposed to be hitting you up directly. Right. It's supposed to be you got to go through this to even get to the kid. And so that was what was going on. So I was going through that stuff while trying to, be the player that I wanted to be for Christ the King and Arbitello, and that shit was hard for me. It was hard because, like I said, I had never been through none of this. It wasn't like I had an older brother that been through this that I could call and be like, yo, bro, how did you? Nah, it was none of that. It was yo, you got to go through it head on as it's going on, and you got to just figure it out.
When was the breaking point?
I want to say the Lockland. So we played Lockland, and you know, I didn't play well. I just had bad body language. I wasn't being a leader. I was just in my feelings, and you know, I could tell. You know, I was just kind of, you know, getting fed up with me. I was kind of getting fed up with him and everything going on because I needed help at that time. I needed guidance, and my last game was at St. Francis Prep. We played Bishop Lockland, and he suspended me after the game. He suspended me. I had something going on, like, you know, I was like sick a little bit or whatever, so I had missed a couple practices prior to the suspension, but he suspended me, and that was my last game in the Christ Again uniform.
Did you tell him? Did you tell him you were sick? Did y'all?
Yes. So we had a conversation, and at this time, remember, this is still the early 2010. So the paper and the poster stuff was still heavily involved in high school basketball. And I never forget they did an article, and it was like, you know, Isaiah's suspended indefinitely. You know, Coach Arbitello, you know, kind of let us know he's not going to be playing and stuff. And I end up going to Fordham. We lost to Mount St. Michael's. They had a little fucking jitterbug, Malik Gill. He gave us the business.
I know the dad.
Yeah. Gave us the business, and I was on the bench, and you know, being 16.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I wasn't at that game, but I was following him because his dad runs the Brooklyn Ballers.
Yes. Jitterbug. Yeah, he was one of them. And
strong defensive presence. Yes.
And he, you know, and like. Obviously, you know, I'm always say, had I been there, we win a game, because I think my size gives them fits. You know what I mean? I just think, you know, and then offensively, obviously, you know what I mean? You add an all-city player back to your lineup, it's a big difference. And I was heated that I didn't play. I just felt like, just okay, if you're gonna suspend me, but let's have a plan to it. And I feel like I was kind of being scapegoated a little bit in this term. I don't think I should have been suspended for the playoffs. I think if you're gonna do whatever we're gonna do, let's do it internally, whatever, you know what I mean, whatever that is. But I don't think that for the playoffs, because I didn't do nothing like off the court. I didn't do nothing like hardcore, like, you know what I mean, get in trouble with the law.
You didn't curse the coach out. You didn't get suspended from school. You didn't get expelled.
I didn't get expelled. So I kind of was emotional about that, and I took that to heart, because it's like, I get it, right? You're trying to teach me a lesson, and you'll lose a game to teach me a lesson. But in retrospect, it got to be a balance. Like, let's do things to work on me and what I have to work on. It was just a suspension.
Now, do you understand now why he did what he did? Or?
Oh yes, of course. I mean, and this is why, like I said, with the whole Isaiah Lewis and Christ King situation is super emotional, because even after the fact, if you go and look at the paper, what I said after because they interviewed me after the game, and
after the Michael game.
Yes, and I told them, I said, I love everything about Christ the King. You know, I just wasn't a good teammate. I said all of the things that you needed to say. And you know what I'm saying? And so for me to feel like I was blackballed after I left the school, it was like, when you look back at it, it was like, granted, I wasn't, you know what I mean, like, I wasn't perfect, and I made my mistakes in terms of, you know, if, you know, as a basketball player, you know, you want me to be a better leader, you want me to do things, that's fine. But I also felt like, first of all, I wasn't taught how to do it. That's number one. Number two, it was like, because I was ranked and because I was a big name, I kind of got away with a lot of shit. And that's what I feel like. And so what I mean by check me from the rip. Like, nah, Zay, that's not how we do it. You do it like this. I was
You was allowed the way to get too much shit. Then when it was too late, it was too late.
It was too late, right? So that's why I feel like, damn, like, okay, I never really shitted on the school. I still was even, you know, I took the blame and the fault and all of that stuff for, you know, all of the negativity that came. I didn't blame Arbs. I didn't do that. Listen, I needed to be a better leader. I needed to be a better player. I needed to be, and I said that, and I said that stuff. And so, like I said, leaving the school, all of the negativity that I heard that was said about me and all that stuff, I truly felt like I was blackballed. Because I truly feel like.
But first of all, Zay, what made you? Was that the reason why you left the school, because you didn't play in the playoffs, and that kind of stung a little bit?
Nope.
Or what was the final straw that made you say, you know what, I'm gone?
I got a call from a Division I school that was recruiting me, that relayed the message to me that, you know, the Christ Again coaches, I don't know who, was kind of bad mouth for me, that I needed to get out of there, and that I needed a fresh start. And so at that point, you know what I mean, obviously you don't want to go into a situation where you're like, yo, I'm getting bad mouthed by these people and stuff like that.
Do you know it's true though, or?
To this day, I don't, because I didn't have that conversation with Arbitell about
Got you.
We never had the conversation. So a part of it was that emotional, egotistic part of me, and maybe for Arbs too, because he probably felt like, all right, if you're gonna go, right? But then it was like we never had the conversation. So
did you ever tell him you was leaving?
No, I don't even think I told him. I think yes. I think it was a text between me and him. We had spoke on the phone. And prior to me leaving, I kind of was telling him, like, you know, I'm thinking about making a move. And then, you know, I kind of text him and stuff like that. And obviously, you know, looking back, I would have wished we would have had a conversation.
Face to face.
He did want to have a conversation, so I will give him that. And I did because at that point, I'm like, yo, like, why, like, you know, yo, you talking down on me? You do, like, I'm being emotional about the situation. Talking down on me, or you talking negative, or blah, blah, blah. Nah, man, fuck them. Like, nah, I don't want nothing to do with them. But it was a conversation that we were supposed to have. I never went up to the school. So he waited, he wanted to talk for about a week. I never went. I kept blaming it on AAU. I had like Adidas Nations I was playing in or whatever, and I told him like, yo, after I come back, we could do it.
Putting it off.
And I did, and then I just end up transferring or whatever. So I do, that's kind of something that haunts me. Because if we have a conversation,
right,
I think I stay in, you know, my career and you know, the things that I was supposed to do happens. And, you know, we're not even talking about it like this. And so it's things that, you know, I fight with every day. What if I had that conversation with Arbitello? You know what I mean? What if we nip certain things in the bud during my junior year? You know, what if, like just all the time, what if I commit? Because a lot of people, my dad wanted me to go to Georgia Tech when it comes to recruiting. He wanted me to go, like Georgia Tech had the whole plan for me. Like Brian Gregory, who's the GM of the Phoenix Suns now, was the head coach. They came down to Christ the King 3 times. I went down to visit Georgia Tech. And straight up, it was Kenny Anderson, Stephon Marbury, Isaiah Lewis. Next great point guard out of New York City. That was like on a visit, that was and you know what I mean? And it was like, damn, what if I go there instead of wanting to go to Kansas? It was just so many what ifs that I always think about Christ the King. So, you know, it is what it is.
Where did you go after Christ the King?
St. Patrick's in New Jersey. Probably, you know, not somewhere I should have went. I visited Montrose Christian with Kevin Durant with. I visited St. Anthony's and I visited St. Pat's. It was those 3 schools. Montfort called, but I didn't think that it was a good fit because they already had a point guard. So, you know, I visited all three of these schools. Obviously, you know, on the same level as Christ the King in terms of nationally and all that stuff. I was promised I was going to come in and start as at the point guard, and so that stuff was all handled. And I ended up choosing St. Pat's because, you know, it was closer. I felt like I was going to get challenged in terms of, you know, with the coaches, and it was, you know, certain schools recruiting me that knew who and about Shavanis and the things that he did and all of that stuff. And so I ended up choosing St. Pat's.
So when you get to St. Pat's, okay, how was that experience for you, like on and off the court? Like, because now you're experiencing another transition in high school. Mm-hmm. Still being young, right? Still having a kid who having a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. Knowing that you left a situation that didn't work out, did you think that troubled past was going to follow you there?
It did, because I ended up only playing. I ended up only staying there for about 4 months. It did. So now here's where the triumph starts to come. Here's where all of the like bullshit starts to come in my career. I go to St. Pat's. You know, Shavanis is like kind of trying to coach me up. You know, I got a lot of bullshit with me. He's trying to get it out of me, and I'm a senior. So what do you mean you're taking me out after I turn the ball over? Nah, like I'm used to playing through that at Christ the King. What do you mean, like, after, you know, if I mess up a play, you know what I mean, you snagging me? Because I got to understand, as a point guard, I can't mess up plays. I got to know where everybody's at. What do you mean? Like, so why are you doing this stuff as a senior, as me being a senior? I didn't understand.
So he was sabotaging.
He was, yeah, and it was just like, as a senior, I got 6-7 months left of my high school career. I'm trying to go play Division I and do my thing. Like, you can't be snagging me, bro. Like, you can't be doing this stuff. When the reality was, he was really just trying to prepare me. He really was. Like, I didn't understand that because I was so used to, like, being a guy. And when I sat back, like I said, years later and understood, like, yo, like, I wasn't really ready to be a point guard at the Division I at that time. I was too stubborn. I wanted to just score. You know what I mean? I had to get better. I had to get stronger. It was a lot of things that he was trying to teach me that I was like, nah. I don't care. I'm coming from Christ the King. I'm the guy. I'm Isaiah Lewis. What are you doing? And so looking back at it, he was doing it for the right reasons. I just didn't understand it because what I was coming from was being a man, being enabled, and that was part of like the process of wishing that I had been taught how to play the right way. Because when I went in real situations, I wasn't ready for them because I wasn't taught. It was just straight talent. Like, yo, he nice, he gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? When the reality is like, yo, I gotta be taught how to get through these things and be a leader and you know, and play defense and do these things. And Shavanis was, you know, trying to teach me it. I just wasn't going for it.
4 months, Zane?
4 months.
Damn,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
You didn't give it a chance.
Nope. I played about 6 games and I was gone.
What did you do after that?
I went to prep school. I went to prep school in Florida and I finished out at Arlington Country Day. And it just went downhill for me. It went downhill for me. I finished out in Florida and I played and it was all good. I was actually in the same conference as Joel Embiid. Mm-hmm. Joel Embiid, Grayson Allen. I played against Grayson in the States and we went at it too. But now I'm fully away from home. I'm getting a taste of that a little bit. And now it was concerns about my grades. Is he going to be able to qualify? Is he going to need to go to junior college? What's going on? I still had a couple schools that was like still, you know, they just understood that, you know, I had a lot going on. And I had like Dayton and College of Charleston, Seton Hall, Texas came in late, they tried. And it was just like, yo, like we're not even really worried about you moving around. We want to know if you're going to qualify. And all ACD tried. They tried everything they could do. That's actually why I went. So me transferring mid-year was like, yo, I don't know what my grades is like. Can y'all promise me that I'm a qualifier? And it was like, yeah, we're gonna make sure it get done. And they did everything they could. I mean, they got my grades to where I was able to take a couple visits because a lot of people don't know. You gotta have a certain GPA to even take officials.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, unofficials you could do, but you gotta have a certain GPA to go take officials. And you know, I ended up visiting a couple of schools, but I wasn't gonna qualify. Like because my grades was all over the place. I had Christ the King transcripts, a St. Pat's transcript now. So when it was brought to me that I was going to junior college, at that time, you don't want to hear that. Like, I gotta go to junior college? Like, I mean, because now I'm worried about what everybody else is gonna say about me. Yo, Isaiah Lewis, he was 4-star, he was #1. I had to go to junior college. What happened to Kansas? What happened to Georgia Tech? And this is what I was seeing in the media. I was seeing people chastise me and make fun of me about this stuff, and that shit kind of hurt me because I never forget when it was deemed that I was that I wouldn't qualify. I ended up committing to Hutchinson Community College, one of the best junior colleges.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep.
And the Post came out with an article, and it was just so much negativity. And my mom, I'll never forget that she called me. I was like on my way to New York from Florida from prep school. I had just went and visited Hutchinson. I signed whatever. And she was on the phone crying. I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? And she was like, I got this paper and it's like a whole page of just negativity about you. And I broke down like, damn. Like, you know what I mean? Because that's my
Where does that come from though, bro?
It was just my journey. The Christ the King stuff, leaving Christ the King mid-year, going to I'm leaving St. Pat's mid-year, right? Going to now I got to end up going to junior college, and I think the thing was like what Christ the King star ends up at JUCO, something like that was the headline, and it was just about, you know, the path that I had, and it was just things that was said, like, you know what I mean, like, was he that good? Did this, that, and you know, my mom, like, no mother wants to read nothing negative about their son.
Right, but this would kind of build that reputation that you kind of garnered for all these years of people saying that you're hard to work with.
Yep.
And even though you done sat in the pod, you done let people know a lot of this was my own making, right? My own creation, feeling myself and not doing the thing that I was supposed to do to put myself where I wanted to be, right? So now, and we're gonna come right back to the school thing, but in retrospect, this is why you do what you do for these kids
right now,
today. So they don't make the same mistakes that you made.
Exactly. And there's a lot of kids, and that's why I say the parent situation is important, because you got a lot of talented kids right now. 8th grade, 7th grade, that's so caught up in the media and the highlights, and that's the era we're in, granted. But if a kid that's watching this can understand that, bro, I had all of that stuff that y'all are trying to get, and I still end up having to take the long road, you would then understand what's important and what's not. A highlight, a video, reclassifying 17 times, none of that stuff is as important as doing the work. None of that stuff is as important as making sure your grades is good. None of that stuff is as important as making sure you're out the streets by 8, 9 o'clock at night. None of that stuff is more important as doing your research when you're picking your high school, going to these games, all of that stuff. That's the
body language.
Body language.
Talking back to your coach and all those things.
Right. All of that stuff is important and way more important than a highlight or whatever else. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, and that's the things that I didn't have. I thought the things that they think that are cool now was cool back then. I'm ranked. What? Can't tell me nothing, bro. I'm ranked. I got the agent calling me tomorrow. I'm going to LA. I got the, you know what I'm saying? Instead of like, yo, like I gotta make sure that like you said, my body language is good. I could be a leader. I could lead guys. You know what I mean? When the ball is not going in for me, how well can I defend? Is my grades good? Am I being a good son, a good brother? I got brothers that look up to me. It was all of that stuff that I didn't really take serious at that time, but that was serious. And that I was being judged upon because I was so highly touted coming out that people were judging me off of, and I didn't understand it at the time. So that's why I'm here for the kids, and all of the, like all of these middle school guys, I'm helping them and all of that. First thing I do when I talk to them is, how's your grades? How you how you some of them got little brothers. Yo, listen, you gotta be a great big brother, not a good, a great big brother. You know what I mean? You gotta make sure you're not listening to none of that rap stuff while your little brother next to you. You know what I mean? You gotta make sure you're finishing all your homework. You gotta make sure you're sitting in the front of your classrooms. You gotta make sure you're asking questions. All of this stuff I'm trying to give to the young kings now, because those were the things that I needed to do when I was coming up.
So now here's another transition, going for junior college now, right? And dealing with all this baggage that you're coming with, right? Knowing that they just wrote this scathing article about you. How did you deal with that? And then how did you deal with the situation with you playing out in Hutchinson?
It was tough because, at that point I went into a shell. I didn't want to be seen. I wasn't going to no games. I wasn't doing none of that because I knew that I was the laughing stock. I knew that I was the one that when they see me walk through them doors and go to them games, they're like, yo, yeah, man, he had those schools, how he end up there? Or he wasn't ranked, or he wasn't this, he wasn't that, because of where my journey was leading me. And so I didn't want to be seen. I used to tell my brother Josiah, shout out to Josiah, he was the one playing in the street ball tournaments and all of that stuff. And they would always ask, like, "Sai, where your brother at?" Like, yo, I ain't seen him in so long. I'd be right in the house. I wouldn't be nowhere far, but I was about to let them see me because I was depressed. I was embarrassed, and I didn't want to be seen in that light. I didn't want to hear myself or hear people talking about me in that way. And so going to Hutchinson, I was away. I wasn't in New York. I ended up not even playing my freshman year because I broke my foot. So I was in a boot for 6 months. So think about that. Already going through the things I'm going through.
Times two now. I
can't play. I can't boogie. And not to mention, the player of the year ended up getting drafted by the Boston Celtics. Kadeem Allen is his name. Is my JUCO teammate. So I go from like just a whirlwind to like, damn, I don't know if I would even really play down. He was a two-time JUCO player of the year. Ended up going to Arizona, got drafted by the Boston Celtics, and it's like, damn, like, what's going on? Like,
do I even belong?
Yeah, do I even belong? Like, should I stop playing? It was just a whole bunch of like just negativity going on or following me, and I ended up transferring. I went to 3 different junior colleges. Yeah, I ended up transferring because, at that point, they brought in another point guard mid-year because they felt like, yo, with my injury, they didn't want to risk like, yo, like, we don't know if we're going to be the same guy we recruited, blah, blah, blah. I didn't trust it. I was panicking. All right, they bringing in this little point guard. I got to go. And so, it was that stigma of everything just boiling up. I'm moving around. I'm doing a lot of different things, and it ended up being to where I didn't care no more. I didn't care what nobody had to say about me. I'm just gonna find a place where I could go play. I don't care if I, play Division I, Division II. I don't care. I just want to play, finish out my college joint, get my degree, and whatever else happened will happen. It was to that point where I just didn't care no more. Like I was like, man, whatever happens is gonna happen. I don't care what people gotta say about me. I don't care about none of that. I don't even want to play pro no more, man. Fuck all that. Christ the King blackballed me. I was just blaming everybody. They blackballed me. The papers blackballed me. Everybody blackballed me. They don't even
You just pointing the finger at everybody.
Yeah, they don't even really know who I am. They just blackballed me. Blackballed me. And I never forget, it was a conversation that I had with my uncle, Jason Coleman. And he got on me. He got on me for about an hour and 30 minutes. He just killed me. You blessed, bro. You know, you had this opportunity, that opportunity. You don't understand this, that. And it was just like, damn. And we was on the phone. And had we not had that conversation, I probably would have ended up quitting or doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Was it at the second junior college or third
Second junior college? Yep, same.
Okay.
So I traded from Hutchinson to Lee College in Texas. I started all 30 games, averaged about 10 and 5. And that Texas JUCO league is serious.
That's tough.
You got Blinn, San Jacinto.
Yeah, that's a fact.
It's serious. So Kilgore, and this is now, mind you, I'm playing. This is my first time really playing real minutes in 2 years, because my senior year I was moving around 2 schools. My freshman year, junior college, I didn't play at all. So this is my real first year, and I was getting the rust off, but I'm still like a baby in a sense. I'm linky. I'm tall and linky. I'm getting pushed over. I'm dealing. You got guys guarding me who had 3, 4 kids at the game. They like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, like, I'm trying to get to it. I'm not understanding that. I'm just like, yo, I'm in junior college. Like, nah, I'm going Division I after this. I ain't supposed to be here.
I'm supposed to be able to do what I want to do. It's just junior college.
It's just junior college. Like, I'm going Division I. Like, I was all this out of high school. Like, come on, y'all tripping. But the reality was nobody cared about that no more. Nobody cared. It's like, it's a whole new world now. What you did was what you did, but now you got to do it now. And that was the world I was in. And once I adjusted to that, okay, I'm playing that lead, and okay, now I'm starting, and I play with 4 dudes plus me that all play Division I end up playing at Temple, Ty Outlaw, Virginia Tech, Sean Smith, South Florida, Humdee played at TCU, and my big man, Asum Ba, a big African, played at Jacksonville State.
So this all at Lee?
At Lee College.
So you say you went to 3, so you went to Hutchinson?
Lee College, and then I left Lee and went to Casper in Wyoming.
Hold on.
Crazy. Yeah, she crazy.
Why'd you leave this Lee? You everything good.
I know.
Zay, what the hell?
I know.
You play with 5 guys, all y'all planning to go Division I? Mm-hmm. What made you leave?
I wanted to go to, and at that point, in junior college, if you played 1 year to have 3 years, you were looked at like more attractive. At that time, they told me because I didn't play as a freshman that I'd be able to come there and play 1 year and then leave. Coach wanted me back for the second year. Here you go, Isaiah. Being Isaiah, I don't like what I'm hearing. I'm gone. Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Crazy.
You was just self-destructing the whole time.
It was bad. It was terrible. And like I tell everybody, at that point, it wasn't about blaming nobody but me. Because now, I done went through what I went through with Christ the King. I'm done.
Did you realize those things at that moment? After you spoke to your uncle, did you realize it was you?
Yes.
Okay.
And I finally started to take accountability. It was like, all right, I'm not blaming Arbitello no more. I'm not blaming the post. I'm not blaming my pops. It's me. It's either you want it or you don't. Are you good enough or are you not? And so I played at Casper my sophomore year. It was in Wyoming. And, I had a decent year, whatever the case is. But at that point, it was just about my mind. I went there, and what that did for me is make me understand where I was at as a person, as a basketball player. And I locked in. I just locked in the gym. I got a little stronger. I was hitting the weights hard, all of that stuff. And schools was kind of giving me a chance. They're like, yo, listen, we want to give this kid a chance. We know he was a high school phenom. We know it's there. He had a crazy road, but we know he could play. And my JUCO coach, he was selling that. Like, listen, the kid is a great kid. Shout out to Kayvon Davis, who was my junior college assistant coach at Casper, who he truly believed in me. Like, man, I don't know all of the stuff you have been through. I don't care about none of that. I know you as a kid. You need guidance, and I'm here to guide you. And
something that you needed.
Something I needed. And he hit it on those, and I would start getting calls. And at that point, when I was at Casper, I'm feeling like I'm getting like Louisiana Tech's calling. I'm getting mid-majors, a little bit Rutgers called, and I'm starting to feel like in high school again. Like, oh, all right, what's up, coach? Yeah, Zay, I'm just calling, and they recruiting me again, and so now I'm getting some pep in my step. Like, all right, cool. Like, I'm starting to get recruited again. I'm starting to okay, and then I got the call from Fran Dunphy at Temple, and it was like, listen, we know everything about you. We don't need to really watch you play because we've kind of watched you all year. we obviously are familiar with you, being New York and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, like what? Temple?
Man, after hearing that, man, this should sound like an episode of Last Chance U.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm saying? Last Chance Zay is like, but the good thing that I'm learning now, man, is that, you're not pointing the finger at anyone no more.
Nope.
Right? I'm hearing you talk, you realizing the mistakes that you made, and now you're getting a whole nother chance at Temple University.
Yep.
Please tell me this went right, bro. Come on. I'm hoping, man. This has been a great story.
Oh, I know.
And this ain't been like a sad tearjerker, but all right, please tell me this one went right, Zay.
Man, nah.
What
nah,
the? All right. Go ahead, bro.
Nah, it didn't, man. Listen, it was one of them situations where, they recruited me. Obviously, they already knew or was familiar with me. I'm a New York kid. That, obviously, I was already highly touted coming out of high school, so they already knew about me. And what happened was their starting point guard, who had led the country in minutes, tore his Achilles. Josh Brown, who I knew played at St. Anthony's. We used to have battles, and he tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
And Fran and Coach Trice and McKee, and they're like, listen, JB redshirt, so we need an experienced guy. We know you've been through it all. We're already familiar with you, and at this point, I'm ready. And I put on 15 pounds mentally. I'm kind of, I've been through the ringer mentally, so I'm ready to finally, come into a situation at the Division I level, chip on my shoulder. I'm ready. A-10, I'm ready. And me and Fran, I just never got an opportunity. Till this day, I would really like to know why. I played in a couple games and stuff, but I never really got an opportunity to really show what I could do.
So after telling you he needed a point guard, bring you in, and he plays somebody else to bulk him minutes.
So it was like, at this point, it's like, okay, so now I'm not blaming it. I'm making sure I'm sharp. I'm making sure I'm in the gym. I'm making sure, like, everything. So now, okay, opportunity is about to hit. I finally went through what I went through for this moment. I got there now. I'm playing Division I where I was supposed to have been. Everybody happy for me. I remember, I never forget, John Rothstein tweeted about me at that time. If you get a tweet from John Rothstein, like, whatever, committing to, you good. I'm like, all right, cool. I see some light. And I get there and I'm like, damn, like, what do I need to do? And it was to the point where I'm asking the coaches, they're like, yo, like, we listen to the meetings, we like, yo, give him a look. And it never, like, really could register for me. And so I'm like, damn, man, like, this is crazy. Like, and so I just, maybe beginning of March, we at this time, we're not gonna make the tournament.
Yeah.
We're not gonna make the tournament. We was like 500. And I'm like, damn, like, talking to my mom, I'm like, like, I don't know, ma, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I just, maybe I just need to stop playing, because I want to keep going, but I just keep hitting roadblock after roadblock. And my mother was like, nope, you got one more year left. If that means you got to go a level down.
Get that paper. Gotta get that paper,
yeah,
right?
She like, nope, if that means you got to go a level down, but you got to get your degree. That's it. And, we ain't got no money for you to be, like, you know what I'm saying, paying for, you got to get your degree. So I said, all right, my mom not rocking with me quit. And my pops was like the same thing. Like, nah, man, what? Don't quit, man. We from Coney Island, don't quit, whatever. And California University of Pennsylvania called. And I was I'm talking about, they like high level Division II. They should be Division I, to be honest. Playing the arena, we sit like almost 10,000, playing a nice size arena. We one of the best conferences in Division II in the PSAC. And that probably was the best decision I ever made, to go play Division. Because my thing was, nah, I'm still Division I. So I was trying to get my year back to go play at like Iona. Iona was recruiting me, a couple like low major schools. And I was like, what? I'm gonna go prove everybody wrong, go average 18 at Iona, go to the tournament. And it was just like, nah, Zay, like, nah, you need to go play somewhere where you're gonna like play the right way, you're gonna do these type of things. And most importantly, get your mind right. I needed to be away and just to get my mind right. California University of Pennsylvania is near Pittsburgh in the fucking woods somewhere. And that was perfect for me because I needed to be away. And I ended up going there and having the best time of my life. I played, I led the team in scoring and assists. I was all conference. And it was just one of those situations where it was like, if I don't have that year, my last year of college, I probably lose myself because I needed to be in a situation where I felt like I was the guy, and like I felt like I was leaded upon, and my coaches depended on me. They put a lot on me. They challenged me, and most importantly, I was having fun. I was having fun with the game.
All right.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
So you saying even with all the attention that you garnered from, freshman year, getting recruited by the Kansases, all the big schools and going through the trials, holding the Division I flag to death, right? Wanting to prove people wrong. You have the best basketball time at Division II.
Yeah, Division II.
Would you say that was the happiest you was playing basketball?
Not even
in college?
Not even close. It was like I said, I'm going into every game knowing that the team scouting against me. My team, we was pretty solid. We was a conference win away from going to the national tournament. We lost in the conference semifinals. So I would have had a chance to play in the NCAA tournament for Division II, which is big. And like I said, I felt involved. I felt like somebody cared about me. I felt like a school was behind me, a university was behind me. They were everything. I'm talking about from the ADs to everybody showed love from the minute I got there to the minute I left. I even still follow the school now. I try to help out with recruiting a little bit when they want to come recruit New York a little bit. But yeah, it was not even close. The most fun I had playing. I enjoyed it. I love the school, the university for even giving me a chance, the coaching staff, all of that stuff. I even, hit them up here and there just to check on them because I needed that just for my sanity. I needed that for my mental. I needed that for, basketball-wise, obviously, but I needed that for my life because at that point, I was losing myself. Yeah, big time.
So when you walk across that stage and get your degree, what is that feeling like? Like, what is that full circle moment like for you walking across that stage and, of course, making mom and dad happy?
Man, it was the best feeling ever because my story is real. It's not like one of those movie soap operas. Like, I didn't think I was gonna get to that point.
Man, this is Last Chance You. It is a soap opera. It is a movie. All these things that you're talking about, from sitting here, and even me talking to you prior to us, doing the sit down, all the stuff that you went through, and people having this kind of false narrative of who you were back then, and I think once they see this and see you own up to all the things that you were going through and how you said you put yourself in that situation, I think, man, people are gonna, of course, look at you differently, but I think a lot of kids will look at this and say, man, this is the reason why we should be listening to this dude. Right? This is the reason why we should give this ear. And the parents to say, wow, he's seen all the hurdles and all the mistakes, and he's been through them, and you came out smelling like roses, bro.
Yeah. So like I said, I definitely want to appreciate the people that kind of stuck with me through this because it was hard. It was a lot of people that I actually lived to see turn on me. A lot of people I lived to see turn their back and not rock with me or say he's not that good or this, whatever. I lived to see it. And that hurt. That hurt, especially as a young kid trying to embrace the challenges of making it out of the hood and making it to, the NBA or overseas or whatever. When you see people actually turn on you, that shit hurts. And I didn't let it deter me. I kept going. Like, all right, cool, this is another hurdle. We gotta figure it out. And even
how do you deal with it? I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm just saying, how do you deal with a young you who wasn't trying to listen to nobody? Like, how do you deal with a young you?
That's a great question. I think I needed to be in positions where it was only realness around. Meaning, like, because I was getting handed a lot so young, right? So when they put that number beside your name on ESPN, or when they put that number 1 beside your name, or whatever the case is, that starts the trickery, because that starts the people just doing whatever you want them to do. All of the people being yes men, all of the people saying like, yeah, all right, you want to go there? All right, how much? You want to go on a date? I got this amount of money. All right, you want, right? And so I needed the realness around me to meet. And what I mean by that is, nah, you ain't make it yet in the gym. Or nah, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? Or like, I needed that more. And I think that, the people that I had around me at that time was kind of like yes men a little bit because of who I was, because of my status. And you know, when you ask that question, I think that's the only way around that. Like just be real. Just you know, don't sugarcoat or don't tell me what I want to hear. Tell me what I need to hear. And you know, I kind of had to teach myself that. You know what I mean? Like, man, fuck that. I'm gonna just kind of get out this on my own because, you know, people are not believing in me anymore. People are quitting on me or giving up on me. So I gotta get myself right, and I gotta be real with myself. And once I start holding myself accountable, it was just a different outlook.
And I also think too, it was a situation where you kind of had to humble yourself or get humbled.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? When you don't have those people there to humble you. And it's hard because what you went through and what you're telling me, it could have been a situation where you not even here talking about this no more. You know what I'm saying? I've talked to a lot of dudes who, you know, kind of wanted to end it all because of some of the mental issues that they're going through and blaming themselves, which rightfully so, but when you're young and you don't know the answers, right? And you don't have nobody give it to you. You got to figure it out by yourself. It's kind of hard, but luckily you were able to bounce back. Played your last year of basketball the way you wanted to play it, graduate, and now you get to play overseas, which is not a reality for a lot of us, bro.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How did that process happen?
Oh man, it was so, you know, I ended up playing well as a senior. I had a bunch of agents that, you know, was coming around the woodwork. I did the pre-draft process. I worked out for a few NBA teams and stuff like that. But I knew, like, you know, just like, and I don't want to sound like I didn't have confidence in myself, but because of the things that I already had went through, I'm like, man, I ain't know nobody NBA right all like that. Like, let's just be real. And I end up, you know, having a couple offers overseas. You know, I went and played, you know, in 5 different countries: Argentina, Uruguay. Played in Colombia. I played in Georgia a little bit, the Republic of Georgia, Canada. So I played, you know, a little bit in Europe, a little bit of South America, and that was easy because at this point now I'm older. I've been through a lot of things, and I'm, you know, I got paid, you know, some very good money to play in these places. And I did get paid on time in these places, you know,
which we know is not always the case.
Right. So I was able to, like, you know, use some of that money to, you know, get me my own apartment and get me a nice car, stuff like that for myself. And I was fortunate because, like I said, that don't really happen.
That's right.
And so, you know, at that point in time, you know, I kind of just started to understand where I was at in my life and understand that everything I had went through, I was still able to play 5 years pro. I went and got invited to the Utah Jazz training camp. So I was in training camp with Utah my last year playing overseas. I ended up, you know, getting invited to like I said, to Utah training camp. So I was there for about 4 days. You know, I got offered the Exhibit 10 contract, which is a non-guarantee that I didn't take from Utah, but for the G League. But you know what I mean, just that experience alone, being up there, being with those guys, you know, the GM and all of those guys was kind of good for me because, like I said, my path and the things that I had been through, I didn't think I would, you know, get a chance like that, but I wound up getting an opportunity like that. And then, you know, just having a experience factor, being able to travel the world, play.
Was basketball fun for you around this time?
Yes.
Yeah.
I end up, you know, so now at this point, I'm just hooping. It's no more like, you know what I mean, I'm finally out of the whole amateur stage of high school and college. I'm actually getting paid for it, and I'm getting paid to do what I love to do. And not only play, but score. I wanted to score. Every team was like, come score points, baskets. All right, cool, that's what I do. So I was getting paid to score the ball. I was getting, you know, I was in these beautiful countries. I'm talking about Argentina's beautiful. When it's cold here, it's snowing here, it was hot there. So, I mean, I'm on the beach after the games, I'm doing these things, and, you know, I'm just kind of building up, and which led to my last year playing was kind of like the breaking point of me, you know, building up ILTD. I kind of, you know, started that whole thing with Trey. Trey was actually playing overseas as well, and we kind of was on the phone for like 3 hours, and we just talking about, you know, how we can really make an impact on the youth, and a real impact, not just do a day thing or do a game. Nah, we want, you know what I mean, we want to really make it known that, yo, we really trying to be in these kids' lives, helping them and guiding them and stuff like that. And that's where ILTD came about. My last year playing, I just kind of thought of it. Me and Trey talked about it, and now like 4 years later, we got it roll.
But not only that. Y'all know what it is. Glenn Pooh Harding, Basketball Heads, here at Basketball City. Here to check out the Isaiah Lewis and Trey Dickinson Skills Camp. Man, this is some of the best work I've seen from New York City youth in a long time. So let's go inside and check them out and see what they got going on. All right? Follow me.
Like we're not here to watch the tween cross behind the guy. Let's go.
What I hope we take from these 2 days is you always got to compete. All right, no matter who's watching, no matter who's here, always got to compete. All right, body language. All right, a lot of you guys, right? When things aren't going well, all right, start to get down on yourselves and stuff like that. All right, have better body language. There's a lot of coaches in here, a lot of people in here that can really help y'all. All right, so I hope that you took that, right? You learned from it, and I want to wish y'all good luck, right? For you rising 9th graders, good luck. You 2030s, y'all better be back next year. You 31s, all the younger guys, you better be back. It's going to be even better next year. All right? So one more round of applause, then we'll get this over. Good job.
So, let's talk about me meeting you at your camp, man. Again, my guy Damon, they came back to the tournament. They was like, yo, Pooh, you gotta go to this camp, man, junior high school camp. Shit is dope, man. Got all the top junior high school kids down there. And I was like, man, when is it? He said, man, it's the last day, Sunday. He told me that Saturday. Yeah. I said, bet, I'm going down there. So I go down there and I open up the doors, and me coming from Fairleigh Dickinson and seeing the ABCD camp, I felt the same way.
Yep.
I was just like, man, this is dope. Junior high school kids, and me from seeing a lot of these kids who played in my tournament, and I would go to other tournaments and see some of the top kids, and they're all there, and I'm saying to myself, wow, this is for real. Meet you.
Yep.
Kind of find out that your dad played for Lincoln, and there's already that family connection because we bleed blue, baby, real splitters, baby. I said, yo, this is dope, man. It's family. So whatever I could do to help your situation. And he was like, man, go ahead, be comfortable, man. Whatever you need to do, whatever. And then over time, we would talk. And build outside of basketball, just kick it on the phone. I knew that you were somebody that is not gonna be, but is a mover and shaker for kids in New York City. And I said, whatever I could do to help you and your growth with this thing, I'm here, bro. So I just want to give you your flowers on that, man.
Appreciate you.
You said towards your last year playing pro basketball, you and your guy, Trey Dickinson, wanted to start this, right? Trey's another big time basketball player.
Yep, played
right?
at Georgetown, yep.
So you guys came together, say you guys wanted to help. Why junior high school?
I think that's where it starts. And I think what I mean by that is that's where the kids start, getting their little chin hairs. They start getting their girlfriends, they start liking girls. And decisions start having to be made. You got to pick your high school. You got to do your due diligence. And me and Trey both went through that. Trey played at Christ the King before transferring as well, and so as well as me. And so we went through these very things that we're trying to preach to these kids, right? Having to choose the high school, having to do that, like, you know, like we talked about, like I was supposed to go to Lincoln. I wanted to go to Christ again. So it was kind of like one of those situations. And then I never forget Shandu, shout out to Shan, like I said, real pivotal in my life. He brought me to ABCD at Fairleigh Dickinson when Corey Fisher was playing. So I got to see Corey, Johnny Flynn, Scotty Reynolds, Malcolm Grant. I got to see all of these guys play at ABCD. I'm walking past Rick Pitino. I'm walking past Roy Williams. I'm walking past Noah Roberts. I'm walking past these guys that I'm watching on TV when I'm seeing them coach their universities. And so that just kind of brought a light to my mind and say, yo, we need to do this for these guys. Let's bring all the high schools down. Let's get all the media guys down. Let's get all the NIL, the agents and all that down. And let's put them all in one gym. And, you know, I was like, listen, I need a gym. And, you know, I just hit up a couple of different people. And, you know, guys was like, listen, whatever gym you want. And there was a couple of people that really wanted to help me because that's, you know, that's an idea that was thought about to help the kids. And it was like, listen, Zay, whatever gym you want, just let me know. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about none of that. We'll consider it as a sponsorship. I said, say no more. And, you know, 4 years ago, I came up with Basketball City. I called, you know, Nate Blew up at Real Scout. I called different Tippy and these different guys. And, you know, I just like, listen, I'm going to just get all the kids. All I'm going to do is reach out to the kids, to the parents, to the AAU directors. You know, they obviously going to know who I am. And I would just tell them, listen, bring your kids. We're going to get us some recognition and stuff like that. And we're going to get the ball rolling. And, you know, it turned in from, you know, us being able to help 7 kids to now 14 kids to now 30. Now we helping a slew of kids out with different situations.
Hundreds of kids.
Hundreds. And it's like, you know, and we're not just doing it on some just coming to the camp. Like we helping these kids throughout the year. Like I'm talking to different high schools about these kids all year. Like I said, I got NIL agencies involved. I got high schools and prep schools involved. I got AAU programs involved that I'm speaking with all throughout the year about these kids. So it's literally ABCD for real, just the middle school version. Like you can get so much out of 2 days for this camp. And that's just like a crazy thing to think about because they're only middle school. Like to have, last year, we had 17 cameras rolling. 17 different ones. Like it was just like crazy. Nate Blue said, listen, Zay, I don't know what you got going on, but bro, this is the best thing for these youngins in the city.
That's a fact.
So I was just like, man, appreciate
Salute
it.
Nate Blue, that's right.
Yeah. So I was just like, man, appreciate it. Then like to have you guys come down, obviously, you know, we got the biggest and best media outlets in New York come down and, you know, watch these guys and cover these guys. And like I said, it's actually helping them with their high schools and things of that nature. And so that's the goal of it, just to continue to pour in. I got maybe 15 or 20 kids out of state now that want to come down just because it being New York City, right? The mecca of basketball. I got a kid right now from California, one of the best kids, 8th graders out of California. The kid already got high major offers right now. You know what I mean? I spoke to his people and they want to come down. They want that New York smoke. So it's going to continue to grow. You know what I mean? I'm going to continue to, you know, push it the best way I can. Obviously, you know, I want to continue to collaborate with you.
No doubt, and I'm gonna make some calls. My people's out in Boston, DMV area, you know, all the people in Philly that, you know, I'm connected with. But also, these kids get, you know, some dope jerseys, and you charge all of them $1,000.
Nope.
Nah, that's been, I'm so tell them, man, tell them that
yeah, everything is free. I don't want not a dime. You know, I've gone through numerous people telling me, yo, Zay, you tripping, all the stuff you provide and you should charge. Nah, I think, you know, one of the main things about this is pretty much like a challenge, right? I see a whole bunch of NBA guys charging these kids $350 to come down for 2 days and give them a shirt, right? And it's just like, it's bullshit to me. I just feel like put your money where your mouth at. Like you shouldn't be charging these kids. Put a real platform together. Like you boy, y'all are millionaire. Like put a real platform together. Put some real high school coaches down. Put some real media outlets down and give these kids real exposure. Like we're in different times. Like we got high school commitments now. We got high school lists for these kids now coming out. And I just put a post up on the page and I'm like, you got to accept the times we in. Like, that's what it is. When I was coming up, to commit to a high school was insane. Like, what are you talking about? But now, those are the times we in. You know what I mean? Like, this is a new era and you got to adjust. And so, Nah, I don't want nobody paying for nothing. And just to let people know, I'm not associated with just one program, right? I'm helping everybody. So I speak to all the AAU directors. I speak to all the high schools. I'm not associated with one. I'm super neutral. My whole thing is when I'm helping these kids is what's the best situation for the kid. Certain kids are gonna be at that high level CHSAA school. It's gonna be certain kids that may need to go to public school. It's gonna be certain kids that may need to go to the A, the 3A, the 2A. I'm all for helping them with the best situation for them. So, I just hope that this whole interview, that these parents really lock in and understand you gotta do your research. You gotta understand that you cannot overparent. You gotta kind of let go sometime and let the people that have been through the situations kind of help you so that way your son or your daughter can make the right decisions for them, right? I'm seeing too much overparenting with parents that never did it, and it's no knock. I want you to be the best mother and father, but when it comes to basketball, you need help. You need help, you need help, you need help, and so I just hope y'all take that from this. Get ready for year 4. It's about to be crazy this summer at Basketball City. I'm even thinking about doing high school, so stay tuned on that. Obviously, me and Pooh kind of talk about that and look for Pooh to announce that at some point if I do add high school. But for the middle school guys, for sure, 4th annual coming this August, and it's going to be crazy.
No doubt, man, no doubt. So if it's anything that you can change about your career, what would it be and why?
Staying at Christ the King, because I think that I have built my whole mantra. I built myself there, and I think that that adversity that I went through, I think if I get through that, I think that that shows some toughness and that shows some grit about being able to get through adversity. I do think that my life took a turn once I left because I just was all over the place after, and I'm somebody with gratitude now, and I understand. But I do wish that I had better guidance, better people to tell me not to leave. I just I heard what I heard, got emotional and dipped, and I think that kind of changed my life a little bit. And because like I said, I had built myself up to a national power name in 2 years, and so staying there, getting through that, I think that would have showed like I'm able to get through adversity and I'm able to get through tough times, and when things aren't going my way, get through that. But I still was able to kind of make a good career for myself, playing pro, being able to be in the Utah Jazz training camp, stuff like that. My brother, being able to win some city championships. Now he's a pro. I got my younger brother playing football at Division I at Long Island University. Nice. So I'm still blessed, and I'm still thankful that I'm able to go through these things for them, so that way they can see what not to do, and even for the youngins to kind of just see, I need to stay on course. I need to make sure I hold the people that really care about me tight to me, and I need to make sure I make the best decisions, because that's what it came down to for me. My decision making was kind of iffy, and then I was able to turn it around at the end. So I definitely would have stayed. I definitely would have stuck it out, just because I had built myself up at a power like that, and I was able to be a national name and stuff. I would have loved to see if I would have stayed, what would have came out of that.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids who in the transfer portals, a lot of them go through the same things, because we talk about the guys who transfer and the girls who transfer, but we don't talk about the ones who are stuck in the transfer portal with nowhere else to go. Yep. Right, and that comes down to fine decision making, having someone or a community behind you to support you in your endeavors, and no matter what you're going through. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, this is dope, man. So ready to have some fun, man? Yeah, man. I'm gonna get this ball. I'm gonna get one of these balls because we about to have some fun, man. All right. Time to get into the top five. All right. Listen, Zay, you only can pick 5. Can't bring nobody off the bench. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. All right. Top 5 guys you played against.
Austin Rivers, Ricardo Lido. Top 5. Casey Hill.
2 more.
Julius Randle. Jabari Parker.
Whew. Tough. Mm-hmm. Top 5 guys you played with. This is gonna be crazy because now you're gonna leave out the whole Coney Island, right? You can't pick them all.
Can't pick them all. Nah, I'm not gonna be biased. So I'm gonna go Omar Calhoun. I'm gonna go Ethan Telfair. Damn. Shaquille Davis. Chuck Flood. And then I'm gonna go Ricardo Lito. Cause I play with Ricky.
No doubt. You going through this nice, man. All right, man. Let's see if we can stump you a little bit. Top 5 players in New York City history, according to Isaiah Lewis.
Shit. Stephon Marbury. Sebastian Telfair. Lance Stevenson.
Coney Island up.
I gotta go Kenny Anderson.
Okay.
And lastly, I'm gonna go. Damn. Lastly, I'm gonna go. Lamar Odom.
Okay. So dope. Listen, nobody's ever picked the same 5, man.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever picked the same 5. So this is dope, man. Hey, look, Zay, man. This has been a long time coming, man. I want to say thank you for being brave enough to come tell your story because, you know, a lot of people went through some similar things, scared to come on this platform and tell it.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people went through a lot of heartache and ups and downs in their basketball career, scared to come on the platform and tell it. So for you to come up here, tell your story, hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Because that's what I want people to get out of this, right? Being able to hold yourself accountable, but also, I think once you started to hold yourself accountable, you were able to have that last year to play with freedom and graduate and make your parents proud and still go play pro basketball. So I definitely want to say, man, thank you, man. Definitely one of the best players in New York City history. You got to go down to saying that. No matter what others may think, right? Because again, it's not how you start, man. It's how you finish, right? You can go and have all the accolades you want and still not finish the way you want to. A lot of people play this thing here and never graduate, never have something to bounce back on, and never even get the opportunities to even explore some kind of happiness or joy with this thing we call basketball. So if you ever get a chance to do this, man, and you get to live out your dreams and do it to the best of your ability, man, hopefully you come out on top like my guy Isaiah Lewis, man. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate you for having me, man.
No doubt, man.
For sure. Appreciate it.
We're saying that. We about to get out of here. Y'all know what it is. Glenpool Harding, Basketball Heads Live. We are the official home for New York City basketball. Peace.
Y'all ready? Yeah. You have just stepped out into the world of